Alright, so this is a quick tip for you for the Geo Pro if you've just got one. So I had an issue with this thing coming loose and the screws are working out, and in fact it started breaking right here. And the reason why is when you put this in sitting on a surface, it's not high enough. So they literally just had this thing hanging. This is particle board. They had the weight of the entire microwave hanging in the air while you're driving down the road, bouncing around on the road in the air at these screw holes like that. And of course the screws are just pulling out, which then will cause it to fracture here. So let's take this out. So of course they need to raise it up, right? So what they did is they just raised it up and screwed it in, and the entire weight of this heavy microwave that's bouncing up and down as you go down the road is literally hanging by this metal. There was nothing underneath it. However, they were kind of on track, because to make it high enough, let me unplug this. They did set a board in here. They just didn't put a thick enough one. Stupid. This is the engineering that is Rockwood. So these are going to just rip out. These aren't going to hold. This is particle board. The whole microwave was hanging midair with nothing but these screws in the particle board. So as you're bouncing down the road at the back of the camper, and all they had to do was do this right and put a thick enough piece so that the microwave would actually be sitting on a surface. And they were too stupid to even follow through. They got it partly there. I didn't put that board there. They put that board there, but they couldn't put one that was the right thickness. So all you have to do is put another piece of plywood. I'm down about what looked like about, basically, I would say about a 1/2 inch. If I go up a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to cut a piece of 1/2 inch plywood and set in. Actually, I'm going to just take this one out. This is 1/4 inch. I'm going to replace this 1/4 inch with 3/4 inch. And yeah, that's it. That's all they would have to do it right. So again, as you've seen me mention many times, Rockwood is not quality. Rockwood is engineered by, I don't know.
Not smart people.
Not smart people. I can't, I'm not even going to try to. I have many other things I could say right now and I just can't do it. So, you want to replace this 3/4 inch piece of plywood with about, you want to replace this 1/4 inch piece of plywood with one that's about 3/4 of an inch thick. And then screw it all back together and you should be fine. So that's my quick tip for today. Alright, I didn't have a 3/4 piece laying around, so I just used a 1/2 inch and put it on top of that 1/4 inch. Now, I put the screw they had here, and I also ran another screw in the back. They only had one screw, but that'll secure that pretty well. Alright, it's back together, and I put the screws in new holes, as you can see. I also used some Loctite, and there is a slight gap here on the bottom, but the issue is the hole is actually too big. So I would rather have this little tiny, not even really noticeable gap on the bottom. In fact, if you didn't point it out, no one would even see it. I'd rather have that gap on the bottom and have this setting its weight on something rather than it flopping up and down in midair as you travel down the road. So yeah, the opening here, apparently, you know, they made it so it's big enough so you could put something huge in here, I guess. And that's great, but they should have used 3/4 inch plywood. If you went 1/2 inch, then you would have a gap probably a little bigger on the top. So where I have it right now, I think is actually perfect. So that was 3/4 inch. So, and now the microwave is actually sitting on its feet and not flopping around in midair.